Is it fine now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. So you see, material handling, as I told you that from the statistics in the factory, almost 95.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, your voice is not audible, sir. Resound is coming. Full resound, sir.
Okay, okay. And do one thing.
Sir, last class, how it is there, like that only, sir.
Join from the mobile also. Okay. So
Am I audible now?
You see. Ah, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, fine, fine. I've joined from my mobile. Okay, we can continue like this. So you see that of the total time, someone has their audio on. Okay. So of the total time spent in the factory by the manufactured goods, okay, either it be sub-assemblies or any other product, okay, any other thing, right? Sub-assemblies or raw material. Of the total time spent, 95% of the time they are being handled, okay, like from one workstation to the other, or they are in the storage, etc. Only 5% of the time they are actually into some kind of machining operation. Okay, so you see the importance of material handling, just to give you an idea why is it important, and especially in the manufacturing context. Okay, so coming to the types of material handling equipment. Okay, uh, we have two aspects here. Okay, one is material handling and the other is storage system. Okay, so the first aspect of it, material handling equipment, how do you handle? So basically we have five main types of equipment. You have these industrial trucks, conveyors, and automated guided vehicles. These are the most important, these are the most trending category, you can say. And rail guided vehicles and hoist and cranes. Okay, these are the five main types of equipment, we can say. So when it comes to okay, we'll go through that, but before that, I want you to know the functions that a material handling system is supposed to perform. Okay, so you see, in manufacturing systems that process or assemble discrete parts and following material handling functions must be provided. So these are the basic responsibilities of it, you can say. That they are responsible for loading of the work units, positioning them, unloading them, right, transporting. These all we know, as far as we understand from for material handling. They are responsible for loading of the work units, right, to the workstations, positioning them, unloading them, and transport also. And if it comes to storage system also, then you have to have the temporary storage of work units. Okay, that's the basic functions that they are supposed to do. So industrial trucks, right? So, and they are basically two categories. One is non-powered, right, very simple ones, and the other is powered industrial trucks. So these are the three types in the non-powered trucks. You can see the first one, two-wheel hand truck, right? These are the simple ones. These are being used in earlier days. right? Manually by an operator, right? Used to take those goods, right? Put them here and take it throughout the factory. Other is your four-wheel dolly, right? Very simple one. And the other is a hand-operated low-lift pallet truck. Okay, it's able to handle a pallet. You see this pallet, the work unit will be placed on this, and you have these slots here on the pallet so that these folks can go inside and lift it. So but this one is a hand operated one, and because it is hand operated, we are only able to provide some low lift. Okay, it's not able to lift it to a greater height. Okay, and this disadvantage will be filled up later by your powered trucks. Okay, powered forklifts basically. Okay, these are the non-powered industrial trucks, right, to handle materials. These are the powered ones. Okay, first one being a walkie truck, right? This is basically handheld. You see steering and control lever. An operator will control this, right, after loading the pallet. Okay, and he'll move. Okay, so that is there. And second one is the forklift truck, as I was talking about, right? These ones are usually used in the industry today. If at all you're going to use a forklift that is operated by a human, it will be of this kind. Okay, it will have these forks, right, so that it can handle the pallets. Okay, and the third being the towing tractor. This is also operated by right, humans. Okay, so it has a trailer like this. This is generally used for handling very what do you call, hefty loads. Okay, that's your towing tractor. So trucks are clear, right? Industrial trucks, these are different kinds to handle, depends on the weight of the work parts and the size of them, etc. Okay, and palletized. Okay, that's what we discussed. For smaller loads which can be handled by humans, they'll use this, I mean, for miscellaneous work parts. Okay, another category for your material handling equipment is conveyors, right? I believe we have seen one video on conveyors, right? I'm not sure it was for section B and or A, but I remember showing it that video about conveyors. So you see the 5 kinds, the general category, that you have these rollers, right? These rollers are used to move the equipment. They'll rotate, and the rotation of them will slide the work part. Okay, first category, roller. Skate wheels, right? You have these wheels which will again, same thing, they'll roll and move the workpiece forward, work units. And belt conveyors, right? So this will be powered by motors. Okay, so the rotation of this in between these two, okay, will have this belt, so it will drive the work parts from one place to the other. Okay, belt or flat conveyors, we can say. Fourth one is your in-floor tow line, right? So you have that slot in the floor, right? So this has to be like very it has to be designed right properly. As for the other kinds, these also are quite rigid, isn't it? Very difficult to accommodate changes. Similar is the case here. You have to have a slot in the floor to be able to guide this cart right through this. It is called an in-floor tow line. So that, and fifth one is your overhead trolley. Okay, so you see it has these, what do you call, rollers, right? This beam. Okay, upon this beam these rollers will be placed and they'll slide upon it. Okay, and movement of those will move this chain. Okay, so the load will be suspended here and therefore it will move, the load will move. So these are used when you have very heavy loads, right? And you have to also what do you call, design it at the top of your structures, right? So that is your conveyor category. Doubt so far? Okay. Now coming to automated guided vehicle. Okay, this one is the most popular category. And as far as coming to completely automating the system, you have this kind of vehicles in place in the factory. So an automated guided vehicle, we have already discussed an introduction to this, right, in the first unit, I believe. First, or was it second unit? Automated guided vehicle, right? Second unit, automated material handling, we had an introduction to it. So uh, as I discussed, an automated guided vehicle is a battery operated, programmable, and automated guided mobile vehicle without the need of human intervention, right? You are programming them, right? And it's a battery operated one, used for transporting the material from the stores to the shop or assembly line, or vice versa, right? So from the shop or assembly line to the stores, or back to so basically to the storage, right? From your workstation or assembly area to your storage, and then back again, vice versa. Okay, so that's about AGV. And different the main parts of an AGV are your structure, your driver system, steering mechanism, right? Power source, and onboard computer control. Okay, these are the main parts of it. And when it comes to how do you basically you have programmed it, okay, but what are the, what do you call, what is the guidance technology, okay, through which they are guided? So basically three types. Okay, first one being your embedded guide wires. Okay, so you will have these wires, right, like we have it in our roads, right? You'll have some wires going underneath, right? So basically the same thing, you have those wires embedded. So they'll what do you call, they'll make a slot right in the floor, they'll put the wires, and then they'll fill it with the cement. Okay, so those wires are basically producing this electromagnetic field, okay, which will be used to guide these AG. How? You have these sensors, two sensors you have in place, right and left, you see. You have that sensor right and left, and based on these sensors, right, this electromagnetic field, these sensors will sense that field, and as they find that the vehicle is moving to the left or right, okay, based on this field that they're sensing, they will correct the position. So basically the steering function is being handled by these sensors and the electromagnetic field. Okay, that's why we are calling it guide wires. Okay, these wires are producing the electromagnetic field, and the sensors are sensing it and able to guide the vehicle, okay, so that it doesn't go to the left or right, it stays where the wires are, okay, in the floor. Is it clear? Embedded guide wires, quite simple, right? So that's one guidance technology. Other could be paint strips. So you have these, if you have observed in the factories, some factories have those strips, paint strips. So those strips, like just like these guided wires, will place those strips, and the sensors, right, will sense that what do you call, the rays coming from those strips. Okay, so based on that, they will guide, just like your embedded wires. Okay, just that you have this tapes instead of what do you call, wires. Okay, magnetic tapes or paint strips, it could be even paint strips, you can even paint it. Okay, or you could attach some strips. Okay, so but you see the disadvantage with that system is that it will deteriorate over time, right? Deterioration, and so you have to ensure cleanliness, etc. So with there's not more of movement, this will be preferred. And even for systems where you have the not very rigid kind of system, okay, that you can change over time, right? So if you want to have it like for a month or so, you can have those paint strips or magnetic tapes, right? So they are not used for long durations, okay, because of deterioration, wear and tear. So that will affect the handling of the AGV. That's why. Okay, and self-guided vehicles, another category, the last category. This is very, what do you call, dynamic, we can say. So when you want to have some change in the uh, direction of the AGV, for example, you already have some system in place like embedded guide wires or paint strips, but you want to have some additional change, then you will go for self-guided vehicles. That is basically you'll use what is called beacons. Okay, BEACONs, beacons. So that, and I'll show you in the video. Okay, our video will have that technology. that you have what is called reflectors. Okay, there are different reflectors placed all throughout the factory, right? And the AGVs, the sensors from the AGV will sense that. Okay, and it is based on that the vehicle is guided. Okay, and even for the load also, how will the AGV know that it has loads? How will a system know that it has load? The AGV has load on it. It is based on that reflectors, okay, which will take the data. That as the AGV goes, if that reflector catches something here, okay, then, because otherwise it is empty, right? So it will just pass through. If not, if there is something, then that reflector will catch it and it will count as this number AGV is carrying so and so load. Okay, so that's about your self-guided vehicles. Is it clear? Okay, now you see the types of automated guided vehicles. Basically 3 types. One is a driverless or unmanned, we can also call it, right? Driverless or unmanned AGV train, okay, AGV pallet truck, and AGV unit load carrier. Okay, so I believe we should have a look at the video first. Okay, I want you to see the video first. You please confirm if you are able to see the video and hear the audio. Okay.
We have
Getting it right, because I'm able to hear it. I'm using the mobile, right? Okay, so now watch this video. Okay, and this video will have 2 parts, like the coming topic, that is automated storage and retrieval. Okay, also is covered here. Okay, so even observe that all these are storage systems. See how this AGV is putting those loads there on the conveyor, and then that is moving, taking it to the automated storage and retrieval system. Okay,
transformed our low bay warehouse into a fully automatic warehouse using Motum AGVs and Schaefer cranes. Hence, and reason why we did that is for stability, security we have with the system. So the idea to go to automation is that the warehouse is 450 meter long. Now, if you need to consolidate goods in a warehouse 450 meter long, that means that just to go and collect a pallet from the other side of the warehouse to the first gate there, that was 450 plus 450. You saw our forklift drivers running 1 kilometer just to go and collect 1 pallet. The cost of labor is very, very expensive, especially Saturdays, Sundays, night shifts and so on. A crane doesn't cost me more during the day, night, weekend. That's one thing. Second reason, obviously, the crane, if you very, very expensive, especially.
You see how this load is being transferred there. Okay, this is one kind of AGV. We'll see what kind is it. Okay, it's kind of a unit load, you can say. Okay, how it is moving that load to the conveyor line, and then it is moving. Okay, and other AGVs, as you can see, they will stop. Okay, they have sensors, right? So that they will stop, and only when this AGV moves, this will come here. Okay, so that safety protection is also there because of the sensors.
Especially Saturdays, Sundays, night shifts and so on. A crane doesn't cost me more during the day, night, weekend. That's one thing. Second reason, obviously, the crane, if you maintain it quite well, the crane, they never get ill. They always work.
Hello, my name is Pieter van Kaasbroek. I'm CEO of Motum, AGV company, designed vehicles over automated trucks. We have a special swarm intelligent software. We have a distributed architecture which makes our vehicle solutions and our AGV systems more robust, more performant. We fully integrate with a complete SSI Schaefer offering.
Okay, is it clear? AGVs, what an AGV looks like and how do they function, right? We have seen in the industry. This is basically a, what do you call, warehouse. Okay, this is a logistic company. So they're able to store and retrieve whenever they want. Whenever there is an order, they'll retrieve it. Okay, is it clear or doubts so far? Okay, then now you see, now we are moving on to the automated storage and retrieval system. Okay, I want you to, or shall we come back again? Okay, it will be confusing. Okay, let us first finish off AGVs. Okay, I want you to know that AGVs are part of the total process, right? You have this material handling and storage system. So the storage system is basically what is starting to show here. But let us first end the topic of AGVs. Okay, basically you have right, three types: driverless or unmanned AGV train, AGV pallet truck, AGV unit load carrier. Okay, and you see the category that we saw was this third one there. It was having those rollers, right? And it was carrying unit loads, right? One complete load, right, which is what you call wrapped up, was taken up by that AGV. That was basically this unit load carrier. Okay, we'll see the different kinds. You see, a driverless or unmanned AGV train will look like this. This front setup is just like you had there. Okay, AGV train, but you have these trailers, right? So it is kind of a rail system, right? That is why we are calling it trains. Unmanned AGV trains consist of a towing vehicle which pulls one or more trailers to form a train, right? Very simple. So if you have more loads, right, then you will attach them one by one, one after the other, right, so that it forms a train. So that's your first category, right? They look something like this, you see, and you can see them in the factory here. Those plywoods, I believe, right? So they're able to move it. Okay, that's your first category, AGV trains. Second category, AGV pallet truck. Okay, worker drives the pallet truck to the guide path and programs its destination points. Vehicle then automatically proceeds to the destination point for unloading. So initially you have that worker guiding it. Okay, I mean programming it to the destination path. Capacity of AGV pallet truck ranges up to several tons. Used to move the palletized loads from floor level along predetermined route. Okay, you see, it's not very clear here. Now it is clear, right? You see how those AGVs are able to carry that, right? We're calling them pallet trucks. Oops, sorry. Okay, AGV pallet trucks, right? The worker will program it, right? And then it will leave it, and then this will go according to the program plan. Okay, that's your second type. Third one is your forklift truck, right? Just like your forklift is operated by humans, but this is solely automatic. Okay, you see here. Okay, sorry, wait, this slide isn't supposed to be here. You see, unit load carrier. This was the one which we were looking at, right? If you remember it, they were having rollers, right? So this was the category which we were looking at in the video. Okay, and these are very popular ones because they're used for handling unit loads. Okay, That's basically one dedicated load, you can say. Okay, several cartons may be packed up, right, and then they will be wrapped, so that becomes a unit load, isn't it? That's why we are calling it unit load carrier. Used to move unit loads from one workstation to another. Vehicle is equipped for automatic loading and unloading of pallets by means of powered rollers or lifting platforms. You see, like this powered rollers. Okay, that's about your unit load carriers. Okay, another application you can see, just to give you an example, is AGVs for assembly line. You see, these cars are placed on those AGVs. You cannot see them, but they are placed on these AGVs only. So it is when they are placed and they are programmed, so they will, these workers, either they will use the control setup, okay, to move the AGVs, or they will be pre-programmed for so and so minutes they have to stay here, right? So this is for assembly line, where you are going to assemble them. So each worker will do its own job. AGVs will take the cars from one operator to the next. Okay, how the rollers will work? Which rollers you mean? In previous slide, okay. These rollers, there will be motors inside. You see, the control system of the AGV will control that roller motion. Okay, they'll be set to some standard speed, because too much rolling of these rollers will cause the load to move dynamically, right? There'll be inertia problems, so they'll put some standard speed, right, that the work part should move. So if based on the load, the rollers will rotate. Okay, if it is a very high load, they'll move at very high RPM, right, so that they can achieve that standard speed which you have set. For example, maybe 1 feet per second or 2 feet per second. Okay, to move the work part, you have set some standard speed. The rollers will be driven by a motor inside. Okay, and that speed will depend on the uh, weight of the load that the AGV is carrying. Is it clear? Okay. Okay, so that is your unit load carriers. And as far as assembly, right, where sub-assemblies or assemblies can be done, right, using these AGVs. That's another application for that. So advantages: AGVs ensure increased control over the material flow and movement, right? You have control over the material flow and movement. And material movement, because it is automated, product damage is minimal, right? So mishandling, etc., that is avoided, so product damage is minimum. High locational and positional accuracy, isn't it? Because those motors will be precise, right? You'll set them precisely, and there'll be sensors. I'll show you one video where they'll use sensors to locate the AGV exactly, because any change of that will change the processing operation, right? So that, and even assembly, the assembly will be defective. So locational and positional accuracy, because of the devices installed in the AGV, right? They'll be placed exactly on the spot. You have that sensors, okay, that you'll place on the floor, and the AGV will match, right, that exact position. Are of great help in hazardous working environment, isn't it? Safety of the worker wherever it is critical. So you have to have these AGVs in place. System requires high initial investment. Those are your limitations. High initial investment, of course, because those are very costly and not suitable for small units. You see, for higher loads itself, we are going to use AGVs, right? For smaller units, you can use it. You can go for manual kind of transfer, isn't it? Manual kind of handling. So not suitable for small units. Okay, is this clear? The topic of AGV. Now you see automatic storage and retrieval
Sir,
system.
this AGV,
Yes.
So this AGV is used for smaller or larger, sir?
Smaller or larger? I couldn't get you.
Means it is, you told no, it is used for only smaller objects.
No, not used for smaller ones. I mean, if they are very small, if the work parts are very small, then we will not use AGVs. If you have seen that video,
Medium or large? Medium or large?
yes, medium or large.
It is used for only medium and large objects to store.
Yes, to handle that, AGVs are used for medium and large ones.
Oh, okay.
Okay.